What's going on, everyone? About 57% of stocks in the S&P 500 closed up in the green today. We could see some stocks made some pretty nice moves higher, while others, like Nvidia, was just kind of stuck in the mud. And this ultimately made for a pretty choppy, boring, and slow day for the market as a whole. But what's pretty interesting is that when you look at individual stocks, it is a completely different story. For example, Chewy stock today blasted to the upside, at least momentarily, by 34% before it came rushing back down. And wait until you hear the story with this one. You're probably not going to believe it, but we'll get into that in just a second. But when we do look at individual stocks, there are some pretty exciting things happening. As I'm sure a lot of you already know, we do have the presidential debate tonight between Biden and Trump, and that could have some pretty interesting implications for a handful of stocks out there. And on top of that, we're even seeing some stocks like Walgreens move in a truly historic way, as Walgreens tanked on earnings and they are now at their lowest point since 1997. And then to put the cherry on top for tomorrow, we do have a pretty exciting economic schedule where we do have some pretty important inflation data set to release before open tomorrow. So I hope you had a great trading day today, but even if you didn't, that's all right. We have one more day left of the week, and we have a handful of exciting things to make this final day of the week a good one. So besides that, we'll get right into it, but I do have some bad news for tonight, and that is that Tom will not be with us tonight. He'll be with us for the next video, but he had some things he had to take care of. But with that being said, let's jump right into it. So the first thing we have to talk about is this Chewy situation. When you look at a chart like this one, where the stock just rips to the upside out of nowhere, most of the time you would think the company released some big news or maybe a new product or partnership or something like that. But that's not the case here. So as we know, in the case of, I guess you could say the age of meme stock traders and everything like that, I guess you could say sentiment has a pretty big impact on stock prices. And today, what we ultimately saw was Roaring Kitty, the man behind the GameStop cause, you can say, the GameStop mania. He posted a dog picture on Twitter, and this sparked a lot of speculation and hype with Chewy. So Chewy, for those of you who don't know, is a online retailer for pets, right? And by Roaring Kitty posting this picture, it gave many people the impression that he is bullish on Chewy. Regardless, the stock started blasting to the upside, and it had a really good move, which was awesome to see, because we've been talking about Chewy in a bullish way for at least a couple weeks now, and I know a bunch of people made a bunch of money off of this recent price action, so I'm certainly not complaining about that. However, we can see that the price action wasn't strong enough to truly maintain the highs that Chewy saw in the middle of the day, which is a little bit concerning. But before we move on from that, there was some extra information to be aware of, and that's that Chewy also recently announced that they are going to be buying back $500 million worth of their shares. So that's definitely a good sign. Again, Chewy's a stock that we've been talking about in a bullish way for some time now, and the short-term price action has been phenomenal. And while I continue to love Chewy as a long-term play, it is getting a little bit overextended in the short term, and I wouldn't be all that surprised if we did see a pullback. And what would be great is if we saw a pullback, that would present a good opportunity to buy the dip. But either way, I definitely had to cover this Chewy situation today, because it's certainly not every day where you see a dog picture generate this much movement out of a stock, right? But good stuff there. Another thing we have to talk about is what is going on with the debate tonight. So, as I'm sure a lot of you already know, Trump and Biden will be debating at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and as the election gets closer and closer, events like this one will definitely have more of an influence on the market. But regardless, it's still very important to keep a close eye on some stocks that can move off of an event like this. And a lot of people have their eyes on ticker symbol DJT, which is Trump's Truth Social company. This stock has been all over the place, and it is one of the most volatile stocks in the market. We can see it has wild swings from highs of like $80 a share all the way down to lows of 22. So to say it's volatile is an extreme understatement, but basically when we have any sort of event, whether it be, let's say, a debate like it is scheduled for tonight, or in the case of Chewy, a picture of a dog, when you have momentum That is what ultimately brings in the price action that's needed for short-term trades, right? So basically going into tomorrow, keep a close eye on DJT, where if it does start to move in, let's say, the upside in a strong way, there will be a lot of scalp opportunities associated with that, kind of like what we saw with Chewy today, and the same thing goes for the downside. But the main thing we're looking for is price action that is strong, powerful, and offers, real trading opportunities. So that's the main thing. But some other, I guess you could say, secondary stocks and areas of the market that'll definitely be worth keeping in mind are some of the, I guess you could say, industries or areas of the market that can be related to politics, so to say. For example, if we look at stocks like CGC, this is a marijuana company, and it has moved up quite a bit whenever there have been major marijuana-related headlines, as we can see on the chart right here. So if either candidate, says something major about either one of, I guess you could just say like the marijuana industry or anything like that, keep a close eye on stocks like CGC or TLRY or MSOS or anything like that, because again, it doesn't really take too much to ignite the flame of continuously explosive price action. It's more so about, if some interesting news gets started and the stocks start to move, as soon as that, I guess you could say, spark starts, that's where, things can get pretty crazy pretty quickly. So keep a close eye on CGC and some of these other marijuana stocks for tomorrow and the next couple of trading days, but also keep an eye on stocks like RTX, which is Raytheon, and you could even say like LMT, which is Lockheed Martin, and other war-related stocks, because if either candidate says something important related to any situation in the Middle East or Ukraine or China or anything like that, these war stocks have a lot to gain and in some cases a lot to lose. But the main thing is that they are slated for more potential volatility. So keep a close eye on, of course, the military and or war-related stocks, weed-related stocks, and quite frankly, any other political topic that can truly see some abnormal price action because of the debate that is set to happen. So good stuff there. And another thing that we have to jump into is what is going on with Walgreens. So this stock has just been getting demolished over the past couple of years. As we look at a longer-term chart on Walgreens, we could see that it has just been non-stop brutal price action. Like ever since the middle of 2015 until today, it has just been for the most part, a straight line down. Looking at Walgreens right now, to be honest with you, they are definitely taking a pretty big hit right now on multiple different fronts, and they are basically to the point where they need to adapt quickly and in a big way, and they need to do it soon, because every single day that goes by, more and more people either get stopped out of Walgreens, the sentiment gets worse and worse, and they get put in a worse financial position. With that being said, the sentiment for Walgreens right now is as low as you could possibly imagine it to be, right, for a stock like this. So with that being said, that offers a really good risk reward for those who do want to take the risk with it. But the main risk is if Walgreens is truly able to adapt given the situation they are in and turn things around. So basically Walgreens, their stock's in a really rough spot right now, and it's so rough where it's offering like a really good opportunity, but that good opportunity also comes with some decent risks where Walgreens needs to pivot, quickly and in a good way, and they need to do it soon. So I definitely wanted to hit on this because, Walgreens is a stock that I think most people wouldn't figure is at lows not seen since 1997. So definitely keep this stock on your radar as well. Another stock that we definitely have to hit on is Nike. And this stock just reported earnings and they are all over the place. Basically, they tried to run up at first, but the selling pressure came in pretty hard and smacked the stock lower. Nike's one of those stocks where it used to move in a good way, but this thing has just been slowly dying over the past couple of years. They missed on revenue, but they did beat on EPS. But either way, the stock definitely disappointed a lot of investors with its earnings report today. And what's good is that that will basically be the end of this week's earnings lineup. So there's no more earnings to worry worry about. But some good news that does come along with this is that there is a pretty good event for tomorrow in terms of economic data, and that is the PCE data that will release 1 hour before market open. So as we can see on the lineup right here for tomorrow, it is mostly clear except for that 1 hour before open with the PCE data. Inflation data like this one is definitely very important for the market, so keep a close eye. In pre-market, 1 hour before open, this data has potential to truly move the market, especially if it comes in hot. So, if we open up tomorrow and there's a lot of selling pressure before the market even opens, be quick to adapt and understand that the flows could have shifted. At the same time, if the PCE data comes in at a good level and the market starts moving higher, then understand that, there's a lot of positive sentiment to start off a Friday, which can snowball into greater price action. But the biggest thing when it comes to economic data is not trying to predict what might happen depending on at what level the data comes in at. It's more so about the market's reaction to that data. For example, in the same way we looked at Micron's earnings yesterday, where the stock actually reported pretty good earnings, but the stock still fell just because the guidance wasn't greater than what analysts were expecting. Basically, you could have situations where you have good news and stocks just fall. And the same thing goes for economic data. So it's as we look at the market tomorrow, don't really focus too much on what the number actually is, unless you're doing some sort of deeper fundamental economic analysis. But if you're just trading short term, it's all about the price action, sentiment, and momentum. So just be prepared for that 1 hour before the market opens. And besides that, let's get right into the good stuff for today, which are some setups for tomorrow. So a stock I'm watching pretty closely right now is CRM, and it is to the upside. This stock just ripped to the upside basically all day long, except for that, I guess you could say, an hour before close. Basically looking at CRM and just other software stocks today, they just crushed it. There was a lot of great price action out of CRM, Adobe, ZS, Palantir, PANW, and a handful of other stocks out there, and specifically software-related stocks, as we could tell just by looking at parts of the heat map. But regardless, CRM had some of the best price action out of the entire market for today, and they are attempting to fill the gap all the way up to that 266 area. So keep this stock close on watch for tomorrow. What I want to see more than anything else is good, consistent, strong price action. I don't really care for this stock to break above a certain level. I just want to see the same type of price action, or at least similar to what we saw today. I want to see constant pressure on those highs, and I want to see minimal drawdowns along the way. If we see that, I think there's a lot of great opportunity playing this continuation of momentum with CRM tomorrow. But at the same time, if the stock just isn't strong enough to sustain that type of price action, don't feel the need to force it. There's no need to force a mediocre setup, especially if the market, isn't doing what you want it to do, right? If you don't see a good opportunity, don't feel the need to trade. Sometimes the best trades are no trades, right? So keep that in mind. But either way, another stock I'm watching pretty closely right now is CMG, which is Chipotle, and this stock had a really good day just to the downside. Its price action was very consistent, just like CRM's, just in the opposite direction. And as short-term traders, it's very important to be able to adapt to the upside and the downside. What ultimately makes a stock have a good day or, offer good opportunities is the type of price action along the way. For example, we could see Chipotle moved in a pretty big way to the downside, but the move was pretty consistent, and there weren't that many pullbacks or pops up in this case scenario along the way. Whereas if you look at Chipotle from yesterday, this thing was a complete chop fest where it went up, down, up, down, up, down. It was just all over the place. Where today's price action was much more consistent, right? And that's what ultimately brings opportunities for short-term traders. So either way, Chipotle had some pretty good price action today, and they also just completed their 50-to-1 stock split, which is pretty crazy. And what we have seen in the past is once you have major stock splits that already happen, like in this case with Chipotle, we do see profit taking from time to time. On top of that, Chipotle stock is already up a ton, not only over the past couple of years, but even over like the past couple months. So it's not all that crazy to expect some level of, pullbacks or profit taking, just given this situation. But either way, Chipotle will be on my radar to the downside for tomorrow and the next couple days. And very similar to what I said with CRM, I'm just looking for consistent bearish price action with this one. I want to see, a lot of pressure on the lows, and I want to see the stock actively moving in a downside way, right? That's where most of the opportunity would result with this one. Either way, Chipotle is on my radar to the downside for tomorrow. And besides that, it is now about that time to get right into today's momentum plays. And with the first one, we have Palantir to the upside. And we can see this one was another one of those stocks that had a pretty strong day today. Again, the software stocks just crushed it. So basically, if Palantir breaks above the $25.40 area for tomorrow, that will be important to watch. With the next one, we have Goldman Sachs, and this one is to the downside, with the main level being at that $444 area. And then with the last one, we have SMH for both directions. With the downside level, we have the $257.50 area. And then with the upside level, we have the $260.50 area. But looking at SMH, GS, and Palantir for tomorrow, these stocks are potential momentum plays if and only if they break through the levels I listed. So in the case with SMH, there is a downside level and an upside level, where in the case of Goldman Sachs, there's a downside level, and with Palantir, there's an upside level. We want to see strong, powerful, consistent price action for these stocks to break through the levels I listed and then continue in the anticipated direction. I'm so used to saying break through the levels Tom listed, but again, he's not with us for tonight. But keep these three stocks on your radar for tomorrow. And besides that, let's jump right into today's $750,000 big money play. Today, we are looking at ticker symbol TAN, and the big money put $750,000 into this one in a bullish way. More specifically, they bought the 43 strike call options for July 19th of 2024, and at the same time, they shorted the TAN 47 strike call options for July 19th of 2024. You might get confused about how they are buying and selling call options at the same time. This is called a call debit spread, but if you're newer to options or you just don't understand how spreads work, don't worry about it. I'll explain it in a nice and easy way in just a second. But the main thing to know is that the big money in this case is betting on TAN going to the upside. They put $750,000 into this trade, and in a perfect world, they would like to see this stock at or above $47 at expiration, which in this case is July 19th. TAN is an ETF that holds a bunch of solar stocks like FSLR, ENPH, and then NXT. So keep that in mind. But basically looking at TAN right now, it is at a pretty big support area right around this $40 level. And the stock is, or I guess you could say the ETF has been trying to actively move to the upside in the short term, and it's retesting a crucial support. So keep a close eye on this one going forward. Basically, if you don't want to trade the call debit spread, you can just trade the 43 strike call options for July 19th, and it will be a very similar trade. But either way, keep this stock close on your radar going into the next couple of weeks. But looking at the market right now, of course, we have one more day left for the week. The market itself has been pretty choppy over the past couple days, so definitely keep in mind that you have to adapt to environments like this one. We could see while the market itself is choppy, individual stocks have not been, right? When you look at stocks like CRM or Adobe, or you could even say Amazon lately, or Chewy, or a handful of other ones, there has been good momentum out there. It's just important to actually follow the money and use the current situation to your advantage. Going into tomorrow, above all else, instead of trying to, trade one specific stock and, end the day in the green, focus on trading in a smart way, because ultimately when you deploy smart trading habits that have like a long-term mindset, when you just do the right things, your account will compound and grow in the way you want it to, right? But you have to get the habits down first, right? A lot of people just look into placing trades without having, you could say, proper risk management, or, without having an actual plan before they actually enter the trade, right? And they kind of like miss a lot of the crucial steps that are so important, right? So tomorrow, make it your goal to trade in a smart way, to have a plan before you enter the trade, know where your stop loss is going to be, and to just follow the money above all else. But another thing I want to say before we close out is I want to give a giant shout out to today's member of the day, Hot Dog Water, who crushed it with CRM today using SM Bot. So huge shout out to Hot Dog Water. Great trade here. And if you guys are into short-term trading, definitely check out that first link in the description in the comments down below. Our SM Bot hit it out of the park today with CRM, as some of these call options popped up by over 600% and others popped up by over 200%, and it even caught ZS as well for 300%. So if you're into short-term trading, the Stocked Up trading floor is the place to be. You get full access to all of our bots. You could join our live events. You could access all of our past educational videos. You could access the big money plays on the same day the trade is taken, but before the market closes, among many other things. So come join us in the Stocked Up trading floor. We do have a pretty great coupon right now with coupon code BIGMONEY. So if you use that, you will save quite a bit with the yearly plan. But thank you all so much for watching today's video. Tom will be back with us for the next video, so I definitely look forward to that. If you're new to the channel, consider obliterating that subscribe button to get our videos recommended to you more often. In every single video, we cover basically everything you need to know about the market at the current time. We cover charts that a lot of times you won't find anywhere else, and it takes us hours to make these videos, and our goal is to have the videos around like 20 to 25 minutes or less, at least most of the time. If there's a lot to cover, then sometimes we go over that. But consider joining the Stocked Up crew by crushing that subscribe button, and let's end the week on a green note.